What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. I'm back once again. LNU, what up, though? What up, though, Mr. Morale 313? What up, though, everybody else in the chat who will be coming in sooner or later? You know, the people trickle in. But hey, man, one thing is for certain. Three things are for sure when you see me on your TV, when you see me in front of your screen, whether it's your TV, whether it's your mobile phone, whether it's your tablet, whether it's your laptop, whatever it is. The first thing is that the Motor City Cats are back at it. The second thing is that we came to give you stats and not static. And the third thing, and perhaps the most important thing of all, is that you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we want to make sure that you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And how do we do that? Well, you smash the like button, you hit subscribe, and you share. You let everybody know that the Motor City Cats are back at it, and we are keeping your Lions news pragmatic. We got some things that we got to get into today. Listen, it is the dreaded slow season. Now, if you thought the offseason was slow before, not really, okay? As soon as you finish the season, you're doing your prep for the draft, and then, you know, we're talking about mock drafting, we're talking about who we're going to pick, we're talking about all these things and these different scenarios, and then we don't get a pass rusher. But that's fine. That's fine. We hope it's fine. Before the draft, though, you got free agency, right? You got free agency and who we're going to sign and who's going to leave and who's going to stay. And, okay, Carlton Davis left. And then right after that, we signed DJ Reed and we replaced him, but we didn't sign a pass rusher. But that's fine. That's okay, right? We cut Big Z. We didn't do anything to replace him. That's fine. That's okay. Marcus Davenport. That's fine. That's okay. Okay. Then you get to, you know, that's finished. Then you get to the, you know, the workout videos and, you know, teams coming back in. You get the OTAs, you get the mandatory camps, the mini camp, you get the, you know, the rookie mini camp, you get all those things. Now we got 5 weeks, brothers and sisters. We are gathered here today, dearly beloved. We got 5 weeks in which we have nothing to talk about. Now, we can figure out some things to talk about, but we've got nothing to talk about. All right? But we got some things that we're going to get into today. I just want to let you know that the content going to be a lot of think pieces, right? It's going to be a lot of speculation pieces. It's going to be a lot of that because the Detroit Lions have broken up and broken away from OTAs. OTAs are finished. And now they're left to their own devices for the next 5 weeks. That's right, because training camp will be underway in 5 weeks. So now there's going to be a lot of stuff. If you don't like it, if you call it fluff, well, you're going to have to find something to do for the next 5 weeks. Because me and everybody else, all your other favorite Lions creators, will be filling stuff in. So once again, if you are in my Discord, make sure you hit that Discord. Whatever articles you find, whatever the case may be, put it in the show topics so we can figure out what the hell we're going to be talking about. Speakeasy Sports says that Trevor Lawrence is Matthew Stafford, and he wish he would have thought of that earlier. Well, guess what? Speak easy. I don't like Matthew Stafford either. I was never a fan of Matthew Stafford. The only time I was a fan of Matthew Stafford is when he came back in that game as a rookie against the Cleveland Browns with a separated shoulder and threw that touchdown to win the game. Because we weren't used to winning. You understand what I'm saying? We just weren't. So we won a game. A dude, he showed grit and he showed toughness, and it was great. And then he went on to show a 9-71 record against winning teams. His 12 years in Detroit, he went on and showed a bunch of pick sixes. Okay, he went on and showed a bunch of fumbles and things, and these were in inopportune times during the game. Like if we have a problem with Jared Goff and his turnovers, we got to have a problem with Matthew Stafford and his, right? I think Matthew Stafford, of course, Matthew Stafford cost us a whole hell of a lot more games with his turnovers because he was here for 12 years. And Jared Goff hasn't been here for that long. Okay? Maybe he will be. I'm just saying. Speakeasy says, oof. How I'm trying. Okay. So here's the question. For all of you diehard Lions fans, all of you lifelong Lions fans, how convince me on why I should have been a Stafford fan. Convince me on why I should have not been wishing for another quarterback. And I'm looking around the league. I'm seeing, oh, there's Mike Vick. Oh, there's Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, there's this guy. There's that guy. There's the other guy. And I got Matthew Stafford. The guy that had a 2% winning percentage against a team that's one game over 500. If you are one game over 500, it is a really, 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 really small chance that Matthew Stafford is going to lead your team to victory. Please. Big T says 20%. Okay. I said 2015. Okay. What was 2015? 2015, that playoff game when we played the Dallas Cowboys. Did Matthew Stafford not turn the football over twice on the same drive? The last drive that we had an opportunity to go down and win that game. Did Matthew Stafford not throw an interception that resulted in a fumble on the return and we got the ball right back? Our defense never came on the field. Did he not get strip sacked on fourth down on the same drive? We got a new set of downs, and he proceeded to get strip sacked and thus make zero play in an attempt to win that football game. I'm just saying. Hold on, let me see what Easy's saying. Goff got more turnovers than Stafford. That's fine. But Goff's turnovers haven't cost us as many games as Stafford. And as I said, Stafford was here for 12 years. Okay? Goff's turnovers cost us the divisional round game, for sure. Goff's turnovers didn't cost us the NFC Championship game because he didn't turn the ball over. Okay, in the playoffs in Detroit, Stafford played in 2 games? Didn't win a single one of them. Jared Goff won 2 playoff games the first year that we went to the playoffs. Speakeasy Sports, you're talking to me about Stafford outside of Detroit. I wasn't a fan of Stafford in Detroit. What Stafford does outside of Detroit had no bearing on the ish I was watching, okay, when he would throw a pick 6 when we were in striking distance to win a game. Sean McVay wasn't in the building. It was Jim Caldwell. It was Jim Schwartz. It was Fatty Matty Patty. Sean McVay wasn't there. He wasn't. Donkey Kong says Stafford would have 10 Super Bowls with Dan and Brad. Here's the thing. If was a 5th, we would all be drunk. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but you didn't. Stafford did not do anything in Detroit. Last time I checked, these things behind me are lions. This thing right here is a lion. This thing right here is a lion. It ain't a ram. It ain't a Cardinal. It ain't an Eagle. Whatever team he plays for. Now, I said when he was in Detroit, I was not a fan. And I said, tell me why I should have been a fan in Detroit when he was in Detroit. Nobody can tell me why. Everybody is pointing to things that happened after he left. Fine, that's great. Did I say that Matthew Stafford is a bad quarterback? He sucks? No, I said in Detroit, he won nothing. When I talk about Justin Herbert, you know what my comparison to Justin Herbert is? My comparison is Justin Herbert to Matthew Stafford in Detroit. In Detroit, as a Detroit Lion, where he won us nothing, where he couldn't beat winning teams. This is my point. Speakeasy Sports says Stafford never had competent coaching. Y'all are proving my point. My question has been, tell me why I should have been a fan of Matthew Stafford while he was on my football team. Please. Jim Caldwell came in here and he thought that the best way for the Detroit Lions to be a successful football team was to take the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands. Am I wrong? Did he not try to do that? He was a good QB that couldn't win. He couldn't win. I am a huge fan of Barry Sanders. I'm a huge fan of Calvin Johnson, Megatron. But you know what? Those guys play a dependent role. They are a dependent they are dependent positions. Barry Sanders was going to get you yards regardless of whether his offensive line was blocking for him or not. Okay? Barry Sanders did everything he could to win football games. Barry Sanders had teams around him that ultimately failed. Barry Sanders doesn't get the blame because Barry Sanders is not a quarterback. Megatron doesn't get the blame because Megatron's not a quarterback. Megatron, do you know when he broke the receiving record, he had 4 touchdowns that year? He had, what was he, about 16 yards shy of 2,000 yards. He had 4 touchdowns that year. 4. Was that his fault? I'm not dunking on myself. I'm sitting up here telling you listen, listen. No one is telling me why I should have been a fan of Matthew Stafford and his pick sixes and his turnovers in inopportune times while in Detroit, losing my team football games, throwing games away. Did I not watch the cardiac cats thing? Matthew Stafford, huge part of that. Did I not watch the same thing that everyone else was watching? Was I watching something different? Maybe it's an alternate universe. Maybe these are different Detroit Lions. Did Matthew Stafford win your Detroit Lions a Super Bowl? Did he win your Detroit Lions any playoff games? Because my Detroit Lions did not benefit from Matthew Stafford. I don't agree with Rob Parker on anything, but Rob Parker called that man Matt Pat Stafford because he had the gaudy stats that were getting padded because we were always playing from behind. And he helped us play from behind by turning the football over. Am I right or wrong? Donkey Kong, that may be true. But here's the thing. Stafford is not in Detroit right now. When we have the best coaching that we've had, when we've had the best regime that we had, Stafford is not here. Now, without all the BS, I'm gonna tell you this. without all the BS that happened after Stafford left, how he couldn't keep Detroit out of his mouth, how his wife keep talking about it, like how she lied about booing the kids. Now it's personal, right? Without all that stuff, if you said, all right, Matt Stafford wants to come back to Detroit now with all the coaching and the competence and everything around, would you be willing to give it a shot? And I would tell you unequivocally, yes, I would. Okay? Am I telling you that Matthew Stafford is a bad quarterback? No. Am I telling you that the arm talent that Matthew Stafford has is it pales in comparison to Jared Goff, is lesser than Jared Goff in any way? No. I'm telling you to tell me why, and nobody can do it. This is why y'all keep giving me all these other answers. Why was Matthew Stafford at his form in Detroit a player that I should have been a fan of? That's my question. No one can give me an answer. Not a single person can give me an answer that pertains to his time in Detroit, why I should have been a fan of his. He didn't have competent coaching. That's fine. We never got it while he was here. We never did. If we got it, then we could have had that argument. Speakeasy Sports, I'm not tripping. You can't answer the question. Your answers have not pertained to Matthew Stafford's time in Detroit. Now, speak easy. I know you're younger than me, right? And I know that's your GOAT. I know that's the best quarterback you done seen in Detroit, but it amounted to absolutely nothing. And if, again, Jared Goff in Detroit is someone that I saw grow and develop into someone who could win. He took my team to the NFC Championship game, and he didn't lose it. He took my team to the NFC Championship game and had us in a position where we were up 17 going into the half. And he's not the reason that we lost that 17-point lead. He's not. Donkey Kong, again, where's his Super Bowl? I don't care if Stafford won a Super Bowl. I'm asking you, did he win one in Detroit? Did he win one in Detroit? I don't care where he won it. There's 31 other teams outside of Detroit, the city of Detroit, Michigan. Okay, let me tell y'all about Detroit. Okay, Detroit is located in the state of Michigan. Michigan is known as the Great Lake States. Why is it known as the Great Lake State? Well, there's 5 Great Lakes. Okay, there's 5 of them. And each one of them surrounds Michigan, okay? Inside of Michigan is a city known as Detroit. It's also known as the Motor City, which is why my podcast is called the Motor City Cats, which is why I'm Motor City Don P. Right? Okay, you know why I'm Motor City Don P? Because we got Motor City Dan Campbell, right? So I'm MCDP, he's MCDC. You understand what I'm saying? It meshes. Dan Campbell's my favorite coach. He's my coach right now. He's a coach that I believe can take my team to the Super Bowl. All of these things happen within Detroit. Okay, so Matthew Stafford, anything that he did positive as far as winning did not happen while he was in Detroit, in the state of Michigan, which is known as the Great Lakes State. This is my point. That's my point. Donkey Kong, the talent that Stafford had does not wash away all the pick sixes that he threw on last second drives. That one season that he had where they had I don't remember what year it was, where we had the 8 comeback wins in the fourth quarter, and that was the like the most in NFL history in a single season. Can you tell me that in those 8 wins we were behind simply because we had a bad defense and bad coaches? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me in those 8 wins that we were behind that he didn't turn the ball over a single time? Can you tell me that? Because Matthew Stafford and his turnovers at the wrong moment. Look, there were games where we were in overtime. There were games when we had the ball last, and I just was like, watch, here comes a pick six. Why did I think that about Matthew Stafford? Because I just hated Matthew Stafford? Because he didn't show me any evidence to prove that he was going to throw a pick six when we needed to drive to win the football game? I have evidence. I don't base my hatred of a player or my dislike of a player or my lack of fanship of a player on a personal vendetta. The only person that you could say I've ever had a personal vendetta against as a player is Jeff Ohelnokuda. Because he was trash and he should not have been picked where he was picked. And instead of putting his head down and working and trying to endear himself to the fans, he chirped after he got one of his only 2 interceptions in his career. The first of only 2. Aiden Hutchinson, as a defensive end, has more interceptions than Jeffrey Ohelnokuda. All right, Donkey Kong. We're going to put you in timeout since you don't know how to behave, buddy. That's why I blocked you from my channel. I flew into Detroit one weekend and my nephew picked me, pretty good high school tailback in his own right. He was listening to, I think it was Parker and the Man or whatever it was. I mean, Rob Parker says stuff, man, to just get under your skin and rile you up. Now, the only reason I'm not blocking Donkey Kong outright is because it's not my channel, and I don't know if they want me to do that. But that guy has issues. He's a child who doesn't know how to disagree without slinging mud. So anytime I see him in this chat, so Donkey Kong, if you can hear me, anytime I see you in the LNU chat, I'm just gonna time you out automatically. So don't bother coming on Mondays at 7 p.m. If you want to come, I'll just continue to time you out, and you won't be able to say anything. All right. We got a little bit off the rails. That's fine. It's good. It's good in the slow time to get off the rails. I have a nice little argument with the chat. All right. But we came here to talk about some OTAs. Okay. We came here to talk about some OTAs. So we've got, and all right, we got a Mike Payton article. Okay, this should be good. Mike Payton says there's 4 winners and 5 losers from Detroit Lions OTAs who grew and who grew and who didn't practice at all. Okay. All right. I had some chats that I missed. K Press, I missed yours. Manimal Animal says to have Stafford and CJ on offense and a legit defense and do nothing is crazy. Coaching was definitely a problem. Okay. I'm just saying Matthew Stafford and his turnovers were also a problem. It says stop him out, Depot. All right. See, y'all, there's a lot of ifs, bro. A lot of ifs and buts. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's go ahead and get to this. So OTAs are over for the Detroit Lions, and they will not be joining a lot of the league and having a mandatory minicamp this week. They'll instead start their time off so they can start training camp early in July, since they play in the Hall of Fame game. With that in mind, it's time to look back on who stood out for good reasons and who stood out for bad reasons during OTAs. It's important to know that the Lions are not in pads out there, and these aren't really live reps, so don't get too excited or too worried. Winners. Okay, we got 4 of them. Ennis Rakestraw is the first winner. It says, after a rough rookie season, Rakestraw has shown up to work with a resolve and is looking to make his mark in the secondary. It won't be easy. But Lions head coach Dan Campbell named Rakestraw as one of the 6 players who have stood out the most. Anybody in the chat, let me know if you are excited for Ennis Rakestraw. If you are not excited for Ennis Rakestraw, what is your belief in Ennis Rakestraw? What's your belief level? We are going to have to talk. We're going to talk about football players playing in pajamas. Yep, that's what we're doing. Okay. So Ben DePass says, if your O-line sucks, would a QB not be pressured into bad situations more often? Yes. And yes, that was coaching. Because when we played Stafford last year in game 1, he had a bad offensive line, but he was getting the ball out in half a second. Okay? Yes. But from what I saw, okay, from what I saw out of Matthew Stafford was a lot of turnovers. Okay? That's what I saw out of Matthew Stafford. I saw the gunslinging, the arm talent, and that got him in trouble a lot of times because he would put the ball in harm's way. Matthew Stafford had a problem taking care of the football. And that was my earlier point about Jim Caldwell. It's not that Jim Caldwell is this miraculously amazing coach. It's the fact that when Jim Caldwell came into the Detroit Lions, he identified that Matthew Stafford had a problem taking care of the football. He identified correctly that Matthew Stafford had a problem taking care of the football. Okay? He was a perennial 9-7 coach, which was fine for the Detroit Lions at the time, because the Detroit Lions were a team that would go 3-13. The Detroit Lions were a team that would go 4-12 or 5-11 or 2-14. This is what the Detroit Lions were coming out of. Okay? So in a way, he helped to right your ship. He was the most competent coach that you had in a long time. And Matthew Stafford still got you 9-7. Whereas, again, the competency level is much higher as far as the organization as a whole, as far as the general manager drafting so well and making key acquisitions and building a team around that player. Okay? When Matthew Stafford had a team built around him in 2014, 2015, what did he do? Nobody in Detroit during that season, okay? And you could go back and tell me what your opinion was during that season, 2014, or like I said, those two seasons, 2014, 2015. Let's just say the 2014 season that started in 2014 and ended in 2015. How many people in Detroit were telling you, okay, we would have a top whatever offense and a top 5 defense? How many people told you, well, because of the coaches that we have, we're not going to be able to win? How many people thought that when we went into that game against the Dallas Cowboys and we were winning in the first half, how many people were telling you that the coaches were too bad to win this game and we were ultimately going to lose it because of the coaching? I just want to know. Did Matthew Stafford not throw an interception on the last drive of the game? Was that because the offensive line was bad? Go back and watch the play. I've watched it. I've rewatched it very recently, which is why I can tell you what was happening there, because I very recently rewatched it. Go back and tell me that strip sack, after we fortunately got the fumble on the return, go back and tell me that strip sack was because Matthew Stafford demonstrated great pocket awareness. I'm just saying, bro. Like, I understand if Matthew Stafford is your favorite quarterback. I understand that. But I'm just telling you, when he was in Detroit, he wasn't my favorite quarterback. I wanted to replace him a lot of times. Hell, I wanted them to draft Justin Herbert. Now, I didn't know that you would have been drafting the same guy. Okay, but here's the thing. If you were drafting the same guy, guess what it would have gotten you? It would have gotten you Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes with Justin Herbert and J-Mo and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Aiden Hutchinson and Penei Sewell. What do you think about that? Because my comparison, as I said, my comparison of or my evaluation of Justin Herbert is Matthew Stafford in Detroit. And everybody's telling me that Matthew Stafford was a good quarterback and it wasn't none of the losing was his fault. None of the losing was his fault. He didn't throw no interceptions. He didn't get strip sacked multiple times. Nothing was his fault. Everything was because we had bad coaching and we had a bad organization. So now if you get a guy, just Justin Herbert, who nothing is his fault, he just doesn't have the coaching, he doesn't have the organization, and you give him the coaching and you give him the organization, that's who he comes in the league with. How many Super Bowls do you have? right now. So everybody except Donkey Kong, okay? Everybody that was on that, come on back and tell me if you have Justin Herbert right now as the Detroit Lions quarterback, how many Super Bowls do you have? Justin Herbert's got Jim Harbaugh as his head coach. No, I got you. But if you drafted Justin Herbert, who did they draft instead of Justin Herbert? Anybody know? Can anybody remember? I remember very vividly. Dr. Detroit says who needs to get the smackdown? Apparently me. Can anybody tell me? I just want somebody in the chat. Tell me before we continue. Who did the Detroit Lions draft instead of Justin Herbert? I'm waiting because I know who it was. Dr. Detroit, Donkey Kong is no longer a viable member of any of my chats. He's been blocked on my channel for about a month now. And now, as I said, whenever I come here on Mondays and I see him, I'm just timing him out automatically. No, it wasn't number 95, Taylor Made. Just checked again. Johnny Stafford TD to pick ratio was 1.8. Is that good? Just tell me, is it good? Because I don't know numbers. Said you're a quick study. Oh, for sure. I'm just waiting though. I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me who was drafted over Justin Herbert by the Detroit Lions. Thank you, Dr. Detroit. Now, why do I ask that question? Because had you drafted Justin Herbert there, Fatty Matty Patty and the boys were still getting fired. Because just like Jeffo Hell No Kuda did not help at all to win games as they were given the win now mandate, Justin Herbert was going to be sitting on the bench behind Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford asks out. They have Justin Herbert. They come in. They don't get Jared Goff, and Justin Herbert becomes the starting quarterback. And they probably get more picks from the Rams because they're not throwing in a quarterback. What up, though, Brent? Am I making any sense? Because people have been telling me I'm tripping. Okay? People have been telling me I'm tripping. Just a fan, tell me, is 1.8 touchdowns to every pick good? Is that among some of the best in the league? I just want to know. Because I don't know numbers, apparently. So I just want to know. Okay. Thank you, Justin Fan. Justin Fan says no way. So when I sit here and I tell you that Matthew Stafford had a problem in Detroit with protecting the football, am I lying to you? That's all I want to know. And I told you, I don't just come up with this stuff out of my posterior. I have evidence to say a player is not good or he's not as great as people make him out to be. All right. So Goff is a good QB if he has a top 5 O-line, great running and awesome weapons, then he is great. He can't just take over a game without those things. But Matthew Stafford can, right? And with Matthew Stafford's ability to take over football games in Detroit, how did that work out for us? Matt Stafford is a gunslinger who did give the ball away at the worst times here. Wow. Mr. Detroit. Or Dr. Detroit, sorry. That's been my argument. That's all I've been saying. That's all I've been saying. People telling me I'm tripping. People telling me I'm blind. People telling me it's because he didn't have any coaches and he didn't have this and he didn't have that. But what about the fact that he threw the damn pick sixes when it was time for us to win? When it was the game winning drive and he threw a pick six. What happened there? How was that coach's fault? Did Jim Schwartz say, all right, hey, we need to play here. Hey, oh, you got to play pick six? Run it. Jim Caldwell. Hey, Jim Bob, we need to play here. You got the pick six? All right, run it. Who said that? Which one of the coaches said that? I hate Fatty Matty Patty. I hate him. Fatty Matty Patty didn't look and go, hey, we need to play. Pick six, run it. Pick six. That's what we call him for. Come on now. Brent says Matthew Stafford did not protect the football. Matthew Stafford said, Brent says, put this up. No, Stafford was slinging the ball all over the place. He threw a bunch of picks. Speak easy, come back. Because you told me I was tripping. Easy, come back. Come on now, come back. This is all I was saying. Because for those of you, Brent and Dr. Detroit, for those of you that you may not have been here, I don't know if you were here, but everybody kept telling me how when he left Detroit, he did this, that, and the third thing. And my question was simply, when he was in Detroit, Michigan, as the first string quarterback of the Detroit Lions, did he not have a problem throwing pick sixes? Did he not have a problem protecting the football? Why should I have been a fan of his when he was here on this team? Everybody wants to talk about the playoff game. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that Matthew Stafford, no one has disputed this. No one can give me a reason. How did Matthew Stafford turn the ball over twice on the same drive? He threw an interception that miraculously got punched out for a fumble, which we recovered. And then he got a strip sack on fourth down of that game-winning drive. The last opportunity we had to touch the football during the playoff game in Dallas. What coach called for him to throw a pick? What coach called for him to lose awareness in the pocket and get strip sacked? It didn't happen. Jessica Fan says the doctor knows. Always trust the doctor. Bro, you're not tripping. Okay? All right. We get it. It's just truth. Okay. I just spit facts. Okay. I'm just spitting facts. He didn't fumble a lot, but he threw picks all the time. And he just turned the ball. He was a turnover machine. Whatever you needed him to do, mostly it was picks. And sometimes it was fumbles too. It was a fumble on that last opportunity that we had in 2015 in Dallas. All right. I would get irritated with Stafford because he threw picks. T-Bone Lokes, facts about Stafford. Where were y'all at when everybody was coming for me? Dr. Detroit says, I think people kind of get confused with Stafford's ability to gunsling the ball around, and they were impressed by that. And Goff isn't that kind of quarterback. They're just two different types of guys. Facts. But as I said, Goff took us to the NFC Championship game, and Goff didn't lose us the NFC Championship game. Goff helped us out to a 17-point lead at halftime. Goff threw a pass to Josh Reynolds, and Goff dropped it. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Goff threw a pass to Josh Reynolds on fourth down, and Josh Reynolds dropped it. Okay, cool. Jahmyr Gibbs, my guy, was part of the deluge, fumbled, inopportune time. Okay, couldn't stop the bleeding. How many turnovers did Jared Goff have that game to assist in the Detroit Lions losing to the San Francisco 49ers? I believe the number was 0. Now, how many turnovers did Jared Goff have in the divisional round to assist the Detroit Lions losing to the Washington Commanders? I believe the number was 4. You see, it's you can say both things. You can say that a person has the ability. I saw Jared Goff take us to the NFC Championship game, and I saw other people lose it. Oh, hold on. Whoop. Got a little bit too animated with my cup. Spilled my cup there. Good thing there wasn't too much left in it. Okay. I saw us get to the divisional round because we were 15-2, and then Jared Goff had a bad game. All right, both of these things can be true. What up, though, Motown Mitch? There's some facts for you. Lions rule, Bears drool. Stafford can fit a ball into an 8-inch hole at 80 miles per hour, but sometimes it was to the other team. Whoa, Dr. Detroit, relax. There's a Kelly Stafford joke in there, but I won't make it. I'll be tactful. I have a lot of tact. Goff protects the ball better, in my opinion. Now, Goff has a lot of turnovers. I think, what does he have? Like the most since he became a starter, or the second most to Josh Allen? All right. I'm trying to make sure don't none of this get under my computer, because that would suck. As I said, in Detroit, Goff has tamped down tamped down on the turnovers. Sometimes they rear their ugly head in the worst times, like they did in the divisional round game. They did in the Texans game, but somehow the Texans, which third time in history, it's only happened 3 times, and the Texans was one of those times. Somehow the Texans lost that game. Just like y'all saw the Knicks. What was it, the first time in NBA history that a team was up the way that they were up and then lost the game? Sometimes it happens that way. But that means it's an exception to the rule. It's not the rule. It's an exception. All right, let me see what y'all got more stuff to say. All right. T-Bone Logue says about the last 4 seasons, Stafford decided to play for his stats by not making turnovers and not making plays. Mr. Mediocre. All right. I was confused why LA wanted him so bad. We do have a better head office, GM, and coaches now. I give it to Goff now. We are built better now. Okay? Yes, now. We are built better now. But Stafford can throw a bullet. These guys both are good QBs. And I never said that they're not. I never said Matthew Stafford sucked. My question was always from the top. Tell me why I should have been a fan of Matthew Stafford while he was in Detroit. And nobody could give me the definitive answer. No one could tell me anything. Everyone just kept talking about what he did when he left Detroit. Him leaving Detroit has nothing to do with me because I'm a fan of the Detroit Lions. I'm not a fan of these other teams. He was concussed because the O-line let him down. Okay. Let's say fine. He was concussed. 2 turnovers before that concussion. The concussion happened on the second turnover after he threw the pick. Okay. So if we want to take away 2 of those turnovers, he still did have 2 turnovers. I just got here. It's all good. When Goff has a bad game, it's not all on him. If that happens, you have to have an OC to stop the bleeding. Brent, this is what I've been saying. This is what I've been saying about Jared Goff. And I said what I think Johnny Morton is going to do. See, Brent, you're a smart man. I said what I've been saying. What I believe Johnny Morton is going to do is say, hey, man, relax. We're going to give it to David. We're going to give it to Jameer. We're going to let them, keep us in this thing. You take this series off. Okay? What Ben Johnson would do is he'd be like, Coach, man, let me get it back. And Ben Johnson would be like, go ahead, sling it, baby. Do it. Okay? Osama Ben Johnson, sorry. Osama Ben Johnson with his weird ass. Go ahead, baby, do it. Hey, Jared. Hey, my guy. Hey, you want to throw it back in harm's way? Go ahead, do it, baby. All right. Hey, just keep slinging it, baby. This was Ben Johnson's message. Osama Ben Johnson's message. And that's how you get 4 turnovers. That's how you get 4 picks. That's how you get 5 picks in the same game. And I think Johnny Morton, as he said, he's focusing on 2 things. He's focusing on the deep ball, and he's focusing on minimizing turnovers. Jared Goff can throw an interception in a game, and we can overcome that. But like you said, Brent, you got to have that one guy who is the offensive coordinator who knows, hey, we can overcome that. I need you to sit down right here next to me. And I don't mean sit down and take you out the game. I mean sit down, okay, relax, don't think about it. We're going to hand the ball off a couple times, okay? We're not going to rush you back out there to try to make a play to make up what you just did. You made a mistake, that's fine. We can overcome that. And especially if the defense is healthy, okay? If we're not trotting out Jamal Adams, If we're not trotting out TaylorMade Media's favorite Pat O'Connor, if we're not trotting out Mitchell Agood and Isaac Oku and Josh Pascal as a starting defensive end, if we're not doing that, if we've got everyone healthy, then we definitely can say, hey, we got the best safety tandem in the league, which, by the way, PFF has now admitted to, which PFF is a joke. I'm just telling y'all. PFF is a huge joke. Kirby Joseph barely made the top 25 under 25. Now he's part of the best safety duo in the league. How? I think they are, but how, PFF? How do you explain that? It's a freaking joke. Anyway, they're going to say, look, our secondary, extremely talented. We got the best safety duo in the league. We got a rookie who's now a second-year player who's going to come into his own by all intents and purposes and by what people are saying about him and the work that he's putting in this offseason, okay? We got DJ Reed, who, shout out to Doc Macaroon, and hopefully next Monday, hopefully, we're working on it. We're going to see Doc here, hopefully. So get your questions ready. Who says he thinks that DJ Reed is a slight upgrade over Carlton Davis. Okay? We got Meek the Freak. Okay? Great nickel cornerback. We got Ennis Rakestraw supposed to come into his own and get some play time. Aiden Hutchinson back. If this is game one, when Jared Goff, if this is game number one, when Jared Goff throws this interception, then we can say Marcus Davenport may be here. Okay, he may be available for game one. Who knows? But that's the likely game that he'll be available for this season. Game number one. After the first game, all bets are off. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay? But because all of these things are in place, and hopefully they will be in place, we can go, Jared, relax. Let the defense do its job. Let the running game do its job. And we'll get you back in on the next series. And because all of that's going to happen, Jared Goff gets the chance to get out of his head. He gets the chance to really move on from that interception that he just threw. So, Brent, that's an awesome comment. All right, I'm catching up to your comments. The O-line was beat up last season. Ragnar obviously playing injured. Decker not playing well as he has, and Graham sucked last season. I'm saying the turnovers happened. Okay, that first interception was a very bad throw. It shouldn't have been made. Who did he have? I think he has Sam Laporta running underneath. He tried to throw it over Sam Laporta, or he had Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have to go back and look at the play. One of them, he had him underneath for the first down, and he tried to throw it over the top for some reason, and it got picked off. So that was a poor decision. The fumble, yes, the line collapsed around him, and you needed to squeeze that thing. It's your job as a quarterback. You got to protect it. If I'm giving Stafford that smoke, I got to give the same thing to Goff. I got to be consistent because people be telling me I'm tripping. Facts. Appreciate you, Brent. He says you're on a roll tonight. Hey, I had to get on one, man. People were attacking my integrity. Okay? They are attacking my integrity. Joseph Fan says anybody that has J-Mo throw a pass is a odd duck. How did Osama bin Johnson ever think that was going to work out Was it on purpose? So again, and I will say the timing of that was the worst timing ever. I am not an NFL offensive coordinator, but I understand how play calling works. You just ran a reverse, and J-Mo hit his head on the goalpost from 60 yards out. So then you run on the very next possession that you have the ball offensively. You run the same damn formation. You give the same damn look, and you think that the Washington Commanders are, and I get the thinking, okay? I get the thinking to a degree. You feel like they're gonna sell out. They're gonna sell out for all of that. But what you didn't think about was that Dan Quinn used to be the defensive coordinator for who? Does anybody know? I'm testing y'all football knowledge. Does anybody know who Dan Quinn used to be the defensive coordinator for? So easy as being sleazy. He's messing with your grits. Right. Okay, Just a Fan says Seattle. Who was he coaching in Seattle? What was the name of that defense? They started with Gus Bradley, and it was taken over by Dan Quinn. Okay? It was known as the Legion of Boom. Right? Okay? That's how and then with Atlanta, that's how he got the head coaching job in Atlanta, because he was the successor to Gus Bradley, and the Legion of Boom continued to boom. Okay? So Dan Quinn, very good defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn is not going to tell those guys, hey, stay home. Right? If you see another look, because these guys like to run trick plays, you got to stay home. We've been talking about that for the entire time. You guys got burnt, gave up a touchdown. We're still in the lead. Stay home. And then Benedict Johnson or Osama bin Johnson comes out the very next series and goes with the same damn look and thinks that everyone is going to over pursue, and he's going to catch somebody leaking out the back, and J-Mo's going to hit him down the sidelines for a big gain or a touchdown. So basically what he tried to do is he tried to go same look, different play. Didn't work. Very bad timing, because it was fresh in their minds. It's fresh in their minds. And then even still, look, if J-Mo runs a reverse with the speed of J-Mo, guess what you got to kind of do? You got to kind of leave somebody on the backside just in case he cuts back. Because if he gets the entire team, the entire defense pursuing to the left, if he goes right, there's no one. There's no one there. It's J-Mo. A 4-1 speed. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, guys, I guess I'll have this material for tomorrow. I guess I have this material for tomorrow. Cause hey, during this time of the offseason, the chat carried this conversation all the way. And I appreciate y'all so much. Because as I said, it's hard out here for a Lions creator. Yeah, I didn't say what y'all thought I was going to say. Y'all thought I was going to say something else. And you won't catch him. Exactly. You not catching J-Mo. But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. If you have not smashed the like button, if you've not subscribed to the Motor City Cats podcast, if you have not subscribed to the Motor City Cats podcast, please do me a big, big favor and go do that right now. As I leave and right after the stream ends, go over to Motor City Cats. Okay? Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to help y'all out. And I'm just going to pull it up for you. Okay? I'm going to pull it up for you. I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay? I'm going to link it to you. Because, I do those things. I like to make it easy for my audience. Okay? Let's go ahead and share this channel. All right. Got that link. Put it right here. All right. So for those of you who haven't subscribed, go ahead, hit that link, subscribe, and we will see you hopefully tomorrow, same time, different place, same time. All right. Motor City Cats are back at it. Came to give you stats and not sag. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace.